Hey everyone, this is Sarbalo, and for this video we're going to change this main change or update this main Dart natin, because this will be the first step in our presentation layer where we're going to dive into the Flutter widgets. So if you did not tamper yung na-generate na yung tawag nito, this counter, na simple counter application, and this is the default application whenever you create a new Flutter project. Yung template is application. So what we're gonna do with this is we're going to delete everything. Well, not actually exactly everything, kasi okay, kasi yung mangyayari dito is, sige, delete ko muna to, and of course this one. What else? I think it's better if I start muna deleting yung mga comments, this green stuff na nakikita nyo. And you can actually read this if you have time to explore yung mga descriptions. This gives you like a good start, understanding ano yung mga gamit na what does each part of the program do, yung mga set state and everything. But we won't be needing this anymore. Some of this actually. This one. Excuse me. Okay, we can also remove this. Oh yeah, if you don't have this, I think wala ata to by default, kasi na-tampered ka na to yung code na to usually wala to siya, but you have to include this one if you don't want the sige, pag tinanggal ko to and I save, ay hala, mag-error pala to pag dali lang, may red, we have to remove pa yung red, we cannot save hot reload kung hanggat may mga errors pa yung code natin. But anyway, let me just remove this one and you'll see what I mean. Pag wala yung kanina, yung debug chuchu the banner, it's gonna appear dito sa upper right, and you don't want that, or maybe you want, but personally I just want it to go, and set ko yan to false, debug show check mode banner, yan masyadong mahaba, I can't memorize, so but yeah, set this to false, and para Control S, or you can click this save and hot reload. Whenever you save, it will also automatically refresh or reload yung itsura ng UI nyo. And you don't, for me lang, whenever you introduce new widgets, mapa stateful or state man yan, stateful, stateless, just keep the program running. Ito ba, don't exit it. If there are any changes, you either do Control S or save and hot reload, which is the quicker way, or if you want to, sometimes hindi na-display upon saving, you could restart. By restarting, of course, everything goes back from scratch, but yung kagandahan yan is automatically na-reflect yung changes. Because if you close this one and then you have to run again, itong start debug, it's gonna take a couple of minutes, or not minutes, depende sa device, but sometimes like mostly a couple of seconds before pa mag-appear yung yung application mo, and it's gonna delay your development if you keep on closing this whenever you make changes. So you just leave it there. Yeah, so let's get started kasi yung mangyayari dito is we're going to remove this app bar, then yan. And okay, so we'll start with the my homepage with scaffold, with a scaffold and then center. But this one papalitan din natin yan. Eto kanina may counter yan. Just turn it into a blank lang na single quotes lang para mawala yung error kanina. But basically what's gonna happen is we're going to try to create what we call as a bottom navigation. And bottom navigation is like the most common navigation that you see, just like in Facebook, but yung sa Facebook is nasa taas yung navigation niya. It's pretty much, but most often sa other applications they have this bottom navigation, just like Spotify. Spotify, YouTube, their main primary menus can be accessed at the bottom. Kasi the reason that they're at the bottom is because mostly dyan nakalagay yung thumb natin, and that's where most accessible. Usually hindi mga di ganun ka accessible, those are located at the top. But if you want your menus to be accessible sa fingers, especially sa thumb, that's why they are placed at the bottom. So yun yung dyan, ergonomic reason behind the bottom navigation. But yeah, we're going to display that. And so how do we do that is we will wait lang first I will replace the center with what we call as a placeholder. And what this placeholder does is just, yung purpose lang naman niya is to provide a dummy if you have an intended widget that you are going to add but you don't know pa ano yung lalagay mo. Placeholder is a very useful widget. It will give you like a dummy widget nga may naka-cross yun. So yun, now we're going to display the bottom navigation, and fortunately scaffold gives us all the necessary navigation that we need. Meron nga siyang bottom sheet. As apart from that, of course, we have the drawers. Ano pa ba yung mga niya? Floating actions. So these are the important widgets that we need to display. But what we're going to be using is the bottom navigation. So yeah, bottom navigation, you just click that, and then it's gonna ask a bottom navigation bar. So we just control space. Kahit hindi na control space, control space, or say click ko lang, and let's see if this. Okay, so what's good about Visual Studio kasi it will suggest automatically whenever you type. Ayun, so ito, you just click this one, and then items. Yung items, this is asking for bottom navigation bar items or the menus. Bottom navigation is recommended if you have many menus with at least 3 main features, 3 to 5. Well, you can, let's say if you have a lot of features, you can actually arrange that with the actually mas mahirap siya describe if I can't pakita ko sa inyo. But normally if 3 to 5 yung ideal na number of menus for this. So yun, anyway, we're gonna create 3 item bottom navigation bar items, and we will create an array. So and within this empty array, which is basically just a square na brackets, inside that is our bottom navigation bar item. Hit enter, and then it's gonna ask for an icon, and then you click hit enter yung pinaka first nan with the tawag na to, may parenthesis. Then now it's gonna ask for an icon data, to be specific. Now usually what yung gagawin lang nito is you type icons and then period, and it's going to display a very long list of, but it's gonna be difficult for you to choose which icon you're going to, kasi mahirap makita yung it's difficult if isahin mo yan one by one yung mga icons. So I'm going to introduce to you this fonts. Ano ba? Okay, go to Google and then type this material design icons, then yung Google fonts na na sa search result, you click that, and that will give you will help you in finding the icons that you need, So for my first item, since this will be expense, so I'm gonna choose, you can type since pera man to, so you can type money. It's gonna show you some suggestions na mga pwede mong gamiting icon based on what you. Okay, let's try order. You could try that. Ano ba yung mga books? Yes. And choose a icon that will be suitable sa application mo, sa menu mo. So again, expense man to, pwede naman it's not going to show, think of words that are related to that feature. So expense is money, gastos, cost, payment, maybe wait lang, nalilito ako dito kasi ang daming pwedeng type ko na lang money, diba? Sige, I'll just choose na lang payments. Hindi pwede payment kasi babayad ka. Savings, spend. Ano maganda nga nito? Ito na lang, money off, kasi money off, yan. Okay, so I'll just control S para, and then this is just the first first item. Okay, mag-error pa yan kasi hindi pa kompleto yung bottom navigation. But again, we're going to create 3 items. So I'll just copy paste. Sorry. Ito pa lang, blue. You better be careful on what you highlight, Blue man to. I don't know if makikita niyo ba to ng klaro. Yan, blue yan na parenthesis. So I have to make sure to start from here until yung sa blue. Copy, and then of course this is an array, so you have to comma, and then comma, and then paste, and then save. Yan, that will si VS Code na yung mag-arrange niyan. You make sure na whenever there's a parenthesis sa widget, you follow it up with a comma so that ma-arrange yan automatically ni VS Code. And okay, so whenever you encounter blue, usually you just add lang naman constant. Yun naman yung hinihingi niya na solution. So yan, that solves our problem. Oh yeah, also for every, let's say, items, this is a property of the widget na bottom navigation, no? Scaffold also, yung property niya is body. Whenever there's a property and then value niya or widget niya, follow it up with a comma, so para ma-arrange siya, comma, and that will yan. Kasi hindi pa tayo tapos. That items ay yung bottom navigation is going to ask also yung ano pa ba yung kailangan nito, current index. Then for now, let's just put a constant value of 0. Then on top, this one is important kasi whenever we tap a certain menu, it will trigger it will allow us to perform a specific action. So we can actually I will demonstrate it to you. For example, pag nag-tap tayo ng whatever kind of menu, we're going to papaprint lang natin sa debug console na yung current index is or ito na lang, current index na lang. This is just for demonstration na para makita nyo yung ibig kong sabihin. Yan, okay. So again, this on top will trigger whenever we tap dito sa navigation. And once we tap a menu from our auto navigation, it will allow us to specify kung ano yung mga instructions that we could perform, no? Because this is a function. This is an anonymous function that provides us with a parameter na index, no? Yung current index pag tap niya. Every item masabanan na so not every item, ito dapat meron tayong label na hindi null, so we have to provide a label. Sorry about that. This one is expenses. This will be the first menu, and then followed by budget, and then lastly I just leave it for my profile, no? Profile. Yan, and then yun, so that's going to display our bottom navigation. And okay, sorry hindi ko pa na-change yung mga icons, but pwedeng siguro yung na lang, payment na lang, payment, and then profile man to, diba? So since this is a profile, I'm gonna change the icon to profile kasi mayroon talaga profile na person pala, hindi profile. And yan, so okay na, we have just payments. Okay, so remember what I said, that whenever we click a navigation button right here, it's going to trigger, or it's going to perform this function. So pag i-click natin to expense, it's going to, yan, current index is a 0 because index 0 to. Pag click natin to, index 1 and then index 2. Yan. Now we just created our sorry na ko yung mic. So far we just created our bottom navigation, but we have yet to accomplish the other. Actually, for this for this tutorial, no, for the entire tutorial, we will just focus on expenses lang. But anyway, if you can perform one feature, you can replicate that with the other features, no. Ito, expenses. What I intended to do with expenses is the moment that the user clicks this, it's going to display all expenses. But it's up to you, to your creativity. If you can master na the widgets, you can take inspiration from applications na ginagamit nyo and how they arrange their how they sort out the user interface. But for demonstration, and since this is just orientation, then also with the different widgets na gagamitin nyo, we'll just display a list of expenses na scrollable, no? Pag click natin ng expenses. Same also with the budgets. Yung profile, pag kinlik ito, you can see the profile mo, like yung name, yung age, and everything. But again, I'll just leave it as an extra task. That's out of this, labas na to sa tutorial. But we'll focus on the expenses. Dapat we should be able to create, read, update, and delete expenses. Yan lang. Okay, so now going back, before I forgot, no, I have to also include din pala yung remember that the injection container that we just created. In order for us to be able to use this service locator, in order for us to get these, para ma-access natin tong qubit na to, we should need to initialize, no? Tatawagin natin yan. So init, click that, and then boom. And of course, we have to await din. Await natin yan kasi future void siya. And yeah, don't forget to add async then. Okay, so now let's go back right here. For the body, placeholder pa lang to, no? But I'm going to change this with a different. Okay, so yung gagawin ko dito is I'm going to introduce you to IndexedStack. Tapos let's start with the children. Ito na lang, since indexed, no? 0. Then this index is going to ask for children. And then, okay. Sige. I'm going to demonstrate to you what it does. But for now, just follow along. I'm gonna create a center. Tapos, the center is just a text na expense page here. Okay, then ano pa ba? Okay, so since 3 yung items, bottom navigation items ko, I have to also provide 3 widgets that I need to display. So yun yung gamit ni IndexedStack. Okay, 3 widgets that I need to display whenever, since tatlo yung navigation ko. I'll just make it the same. Tapos sige, so now when I click this, yan, notice that yung wala na yung placeholder, and what's being displayed is insert expense page here, which is ito. Now why is it that kahit tatlo to tatlo to siya, no, na widgets in the children. Isa lang yung currently being displayed, which is yung insert expense page here. And that is because IndexedStack is literally a stack, no, a stack of widgets, but it will only display one widget at a time. Yung i-display niya depends on the index. So since I placed this as index 0, so the first children niya, yun yung i-display niya. Ganun lang. But if I change this to 1, it's going to be, okay, that's weird. Oh, sorry, budget. I forgot to pala to budget, then ito profile, forgot pala, no. Yun, okay na. So yun, since index is 1, that's why yung pangalawang widget yung na-displayed. Okay, now of course we want na dapat pag click natin to, of course, as you notice, I don't know if halata ba siya, but yung currently na naka-select dito is expenses because as you can see, mas malaki yung font niya compared to the rest, and color purple siya. What we want is whenever we click these buttons, eto mag-highlight to, and then mag-change yung view natin. So how do we do that? No, and this is where the on top, dyan na papasok yung on top. And we will also introduce, and this is the reason why naka-stateful widget siya, because we're going to yung pabago-bago dito na state dito, or the information, no, that will affect our itsura ng UI natin is the index. So the index changes whenever we click a certain menu. So that's why we're going to create a current indexed, and we'll set the default or initial index niya to 0, meaning that will be the first yung pinaka first na i-display is yung pinaka first na menu, which is expenses. And then we will use this to make this index dynamic. Instead of being a constant na lang siya nga number, lagi na lang siya, or else magsta-stack siya into index 1. Same also with this one, di pwedeng naka-stack lang siya nga naka-select to index 0. We want to make it dynamic, so current index. Now here's the thing, yung on top meron siyang index, diba? This value of this index changes whenever we tap an item, menu item. So yung gagawin natin is whenever nagtatap tayo and nagbabago yung index, we will use that index to set our state, and we will set the current index to index, and we save that, and you'll see the magic. Yan. So see, again, in our state, current index is at value niya is 0, so that's why yung display ni IndexedStack is current index. Ito, tapos si bottom navigation, yung current index niya is 0, so therefore it will highlight the menu 0. Pag tinap natin to, that's going to change. It's going to highlight the bottom navigation. Then it will also change our display to the pangalawang child ni IndexedStack, and then pag click natin itong profile, yan. So yan, that fixes our need, no, to have a primary navigation. So whenever we click a certain menu, it displays a different page of the app. Now wait lang. Again, as I mentioned, we're going to start with the expense, and that's going to be the focus of this tutorial. So I'm going to later on replace this, etong center na to, with a different widget, but for now But for now, we're just going to create a view all expenses na page, and we will go to the presentation layer because this is where we place all our pages related sa sa expense. Create, read out, view, add, edit, update, yeah, and view specific items. So click this one, new file, view all expenses page. We have to whenever we create a page, make sure ang pinaka last is page, and then we type stf full. Click this one in order for us to generate a stateful widget. We will name this as view all expenses. You click that one, and then after that click anywhere, and yun. Okay, so next is we're going to create a by default placeholder siya, no? So let me just show you, once we're going to place or create an instance of this widget, we're going to delete this one, then we type view all expenses page. Don't forget to comma kasi mag-error yan. Control S, and then that's going to display a placeholder. Itong placeholder to galing yan dito. Yan. Okay, now we're going to replace this with a scaffold. Tapos yung scaffold, meron siyang up bar. The up bar has a title, text, and then expenses. Medyo bibilisan ko lang yung pag-type para di tayo load, tagalan. Then our page, and this is standard, we're gonna repeat this for each and every page na we're going to create, scaffold, up bar, and then my body. So for the body, lagyan ko lang muna to ng placeholder, temporary, but will also include a floating action button, and then yung on press, delete natin yan, control space. Ito yung piliin nyo, yung pangalawa. And then yung child niya, is an icons.add. Okay. So let's save that, and then that's yan. So yan yung magiging itsura niya for the meantime, because when we click this one, it's going to display a form, an add expense form, tapos meron mga text fields. Itong placeholder, we will display a list view, or in other words, a list of items. So yung gagawin natin for this is tawag ito. We will attempt to ito lang muna for starters, I'm going to display a list view, pero builder siya. And then yeah, tama to. And then yung item builder, remove that, control space, then hit this one. Yung pangalawa, eto to yan. Tapos we'll set a comma, no, kasi we're going to specify item count, the property, and let's fix this lang muna, ano lang muna to, constant lang muna, 5, no. And then yung item builder needs to provide a widget. Sige, so return card, and then this card has a child, list style. Tapos yung list style, meron siya mga properties that we can use, like title, title, control S ko muna to, ay sorry. Okay, since return to return, and then card, you semicolon, okay, not comma, semicolon. Kasi yung ibig sabihin nito is this item builder, pag tinawag tong function na to, we have to return a widget. So yung widget na i-return natin is card. Sige lang, sorry, widget kasi yung kailangan sa title, so sorry, this should be text pala, I forgot yung title. Then we also have a subtitle widget. Sorry. Then on top, and then ano nangyari dito, wala siyang ano. Sige na lang, debug print, this style, that. Okay, so let me just break it down what's going on. Yun, so right now what you see is a list view. Okay, lahat na nakikita nyo sa body is a list view, and 5 siya because yung item count is 5. And we have item builder, which basically is a function that kung ilan yung items mo, yan din yung how many times this card will be generated. So since 5 siya, edi 5 times siya mag-generate ng card na widget. These are all cards, but inside the card has a child, list style. So all the card nga siya, but meron siyang list style din na child. And this list style, we have title and then subtitle. Actually meron pa nga itong ano, meron pa siyang ibang other useful na mga properties like leading. This is used for profiles, display ka ng like circles ng profile. Pwede rin yung anong tawag ng isa, I forgot the other one, trailing. Yeah, this is also, yung leading is nasa first, yung trailing is nasa last, so yung pinagkaya. But we'll just focus lang with these two. Now pag nag-tap tayo in any one of this, that's going to trigger this function to debug print, no? Ayan, so yung nakikita nyo yan. So it's our list style that is wrapped by a card, no? Yung card kasi is yun yung siya yung the shadows that you can see. Ito yung parang ano siya, parang ang tawag nito, parang may rounded yung corner na may shadow. It's the card yung gumagawa niyan, but if we remove that, if we remove this card and we save, so wala na yung shadow. So yun yung purpose ng card, no? If you want that effect, you could try a card, no? Yun lang naman yung purpose niya. So that's our list view, but what we want is this list view to be dynamic, and we want na going back, this is like, sorry, na sign out na pala ako. Not sign out, refresh ko lang, baka baka kailangan lang niya ng, sorry, hindi pala, sign in lang ako dito. Okay, so let me just show you yung expenses ko. And actually I have a lot of documents right here. Probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No? So I want these 11 documents, or rather expenses, na ma-display siya dito sa expenses. Now, how are we going to do that? The first is, punta tayo dito sa we're going to override what we call as init override. Ano ba yung override natin dito? initState. This is a function or method that is, before ito matrigger tong build na to, ito muna yung tatawagin. And this is useful whenever we make some preparations before we display, before na trigger tong build, no? So this is more for preparation purposes to. And the reason why, ano ba yung i-prepare natin is, what we want is when the moment that this view expenses will be displayed, before it nakalimutan ko sinabi ko. The moment that the expense menu is selected, at before siya i-display or matrigger tong build, we have to make preparations. The preparation that we're going to do is we are going to request the the domain layer. The UI natin sa presentation layer, specifically ito yung ViewAllExpenses, is going to communicate with the domain layer to get all expenses and display that. So yung mangyayari dito is we're going to enter context that read and expense qubit out, and then get all. Okay, so mag-error yan. I can't proceed with, no matter how I control space this, kasi nag-error pa to. But the solution for this is quick fix import. Yun lang yung kulang niya. Flutter block. Then I proceed with the control space get fetch pala yun. So fetch all expenses. Yan. As simple as that. But how do I get the paano ba natin papa-display yung mga expenses? And this is where the tricky part is. It's because not really the tricky part, but this is where the complexity. No, we're gonna add complexity to our code. No, wait lang. Let me just double check my reference. So going back sa main, no, so far what we did lang naman is just create an instance of ViewAllExpense. But actually meron pa tayong gagawin nito, kasi we cannot trigger this, we cannot successfully call this qubit unless we encapsulate this ViewAllExpense with a block provider. Wait lang ha, let me just double check my reference, no. Okay, so yan, we encapsulate this view all, ano nangyari? Sorry, click this one, tapos pag kinlik mo to, may light bulb, and then you click that light bulb and you select wrap with BlocProvider. Yan, okay, that's what we want. And then quick fix lang to import the Flutter block, and then eto, it's asking for a block na component. No, we will create the component. Now remember that we created an expense qubit na component. We already created an instance of that right here sa injection container, no. So what we're going to do is we will use the service locator, because as you remember, the service locator contains all the objects. Actually, isa lang naman na component yung kailangan natin, the block, no. That's already been registered na. Na-register na siya sa itong expense qubit, naka-register na siya sa service locator. So we can fetch this object right here. And how do we do that? We just simply service locator, and then within this after the locator, you indicate expense qubit like that. Okay, yan, I just double check my reference, no. Sometimes if I don't respond kagad, check ko lang, cross check ko lang yung reference if I miss something. Okay, so yun. Then we can exit this, tapos view, okay, facial expense, we're done with this. Okay, so how do we get, pag tinawag natin to, the qubit is supposed to return. This one is just merely requesting the qubit to do something, but of course it's not going to return anything. It's void, no. How do we get the list of expenses? So yung gagawin naman natin is, yung scaffold is, we click this light bulb, we wrap it with a block wait lang ha, builder, yeah, BlocBuilder, kasi we have a lot of options right here. Pwedeng BlocBuilder, block consumer, block listener. We'll just use BlocBuilder kasi we'll just build lang naman. And then subject blocks, subject state, these are just dummy. You will replace this with the exact this one, yung first parameter is what qubit, no, since this is expense man, so expense qubit. Okay, eto is asking for the state, so you need to be specific, expense state, kasi again we view all expenses kasi ito, diba? So yan, and then we're not done yet kasi so far what we did lang naman with the builder, yung kanina, no, is we just displayed a scaffold, tapos yung body is ListView.builder, no. Now itong body, we want this body to be dynamic, kasi if you have observed sa mga applications, You observe some applications that when you open an application, it's not going to display the data agad, no? Sometimes it will display you a loading state na parang may umiikot na circle, or sometimes parang may nagshimmer na mga parang mga squares that parang nagsashine, or sometimes nag-display siya ng error if nag-failed siya to retrieve the data, or it will display like offline, cannot display. Basta yung point ko dito is this body is not gonna be a constant na list of cards. So lista, hindi siya constant. It's going to be dynamic. This will change depending on the state. So what we're going to do is sorry, mali pala yung I will remove pala yung sorry, my apologies, no. At hindi yung scaffold yung yung this body, this list view itself pala yung okay, how I did, if you're confused paano ko ginawa yan, you just click the widget, yung BlocBuilder, may yan, light bulb, remove yan para mawala siya. But this is what we want to encapsulate kasi ito yung gusto natin na dynamic. This is the part, yung body mismo yung dynamic, so we encapsulate it with BlocBuilder and expense qubit and then expense state. Okay, so yan, again, we don't want this to be dynamic, so yung gagawin natin is, di ba, the builder has context and state. This state is changing, pabago-bago yan, depende sa qubit. Kasi yung qubit natin, if we recall, when we call the fetch expense, is going to emit this one, or this one. Loading, or after loading, loaded, if failed, expense error. So yun, these are the possible states na yung i-emit niya. So we're going to anticipate those states by listing them in the if-else condition. So if state is expense loading, return, okay, gagawa lang muna ako ng ano ba maganda dito, placeholder lang muna kasi hindi ko pa alam yung di-display ko. Actually, we will change that, temporary lang naman to. Else if the state is expense loaded, and this is where we're going to sige, I will highlight everything, cut, tapos paste yan, save yan, and yan. Pag loaded, so successful na siya, so yan na yan, we're going to display the list mismo. And meron pa tayong scenario na hindi pa natin na sasali. What if pala mag-error? Else if state, what if nag-error? Expense error. We're going to return again a placeholder lang muna, and then that's basically it. But there's a chance that what if we have to anticipate in what if hindi to lalabas, yeah, that's going to trigger an error pa rin. Bakit kasi sabi niya dito, the body might complete normally, causing null to return. So we have to provide an else where let's just Normally, this is intended for like we will display a default like initial na widget kung wala talaga. But anyway, these are just placeholders kasi in the next video we will end lang naman with here. Yung goal natin is to be able to display dynamically. Sa next video natin, i-cover yung each of these. What are the specific widgets that we're going to display for the loading, the error, and the initial or empty state, no? But yeah, okay. So, loaded, diba? Expense loaded. Dito sa fetch all expense, that expense loaded is going to contain the list of expenses natin. If we check, no, meron siyang list of expenses, so we can access that actually by doing the yung mangyayari dito is state. Okay, paano ba? How do I make this simple, no? Final na lang. Final expenses is equals to state that expenses. Yan. Actually we don't have to create, and it's gonna be redundant. Wag na lang. Okay, so the item count, we don't want this to be dynamic kasi this will depend, no, kung ilan yung ilan yung number of expenses natin sa database. Yun din dapat yung item count. So this should be state that expenses and then length, the length of the array, kasi remember this is an array of expenses, no? So by calling the length, that will return the length of this, no? So yun yung magiging item count. And kung 7 yung expenses mo, edi 7 times siya magbi-build ng card. So for the list style, we want this also to be dynamic. Now for each tile, dapat iba-iba yung mga mga expenses na i-display. So yung mangyayari dito is, di ba, index. This index changes, no? Kung ilan yung kung 7 yung items mo dito, the index will start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 0 will be the first item sa list, first index, first item sa list natin. So we will call this final current expense is equals to state expense and then index. Okay, so this one is going to return an expense, a single expense, and that depends on kung ano yung value nito. Yung index will start at index 0, so therefore the first object right dito, this will be the first object, no? And we're going to display the details, yung mga properties nito dito sa tile, but not everything, no, kasi dalawa lang naman yung ano dito. So itong text, I'll make this PHP kasi pesos, and then current expense, tapos yung amount niya. Ito lang naman yung importante sa akin, na ma-display ko tong dalawa na to. The other one is yung current expense dot description. Yung amount, ilan, tsaka description, para ano yung expense na yun. Okay, so let's display that. Ayan, nakita nyo yun. Once I refresh ni-reload ko siya, nag-start siya with a placeholder expense loading, no? So ito muna yung display niya ng widget. Once ning transition na, nag-emit na yung expense qubit ng expense loaded, so this time ito naman yung i-display niya, and that's what you see right here now. So we have successfully displayed all our expenses galing sa Firebase. This one right here, eto na yun. And see, that's what I mean, no? This is the first item at the state expense, index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, so on and so forth, and yan. So I will cut the recording of this up to here, so that in the next video we'll focus on the other widgets. But yeah, that would be all for now, and hope to see you in the next videos. Bye bye.